and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton. And today we're going to talk about fruits and veggies, especially veggies, how to get more in your diet, how to enjoy them, how to be healthier. My guest is from the Health Department, Irene Ferrainolo. Welcome.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here again.
I'm very excited about this topic because I have been working vegetables, more and more vegetables into my diet, and we always need new ideas.
Okay, well good, and I'm glad to hear you've been working into your diet. I wanted to start out with, this is our new, the World of Health's new teaching tool. It's called My Plate. The pyramid is kind of out of vogue now.
It is, and I want to say, as a sort of low carber, I just think that makes so much more sense.
Yes.
There was an overemphasis of grains, and people didn't understand necessarily that they were supposed to be whole grains.
Right. In a pyramid, what does that mean in your world? We all have a plate.
Right.
And when you look at the plate and how, for healthy eating and balanced eating, every plate should be, is that half of it,
hold it down a little bit more. Okay.
Half of it is fruits and vegetables. So anytime you're having a meal, or as you go through the day, half of what you're eating should be a combination of fruits and vegetables. And really, that shouldn't be too much of a challenge because there's such a variety of fruits and vegetables.
Right.
And if there's particular ones you don't care for, then you don't have to eat those. You can absolutely get all the vitamins and minerals you need by combining others. The big thing I think people keep in mind about fruits and vegetables is to vary the color, so that you're not always eating a green vegetable, but sometimes you're eating an orange carrot or a yellow squash or a red pepper. Same thing with fruits. You're not always eating yellow bananas, but you're eating an orange, peach-colored peach.
Right.
Or strawberries or berries.
And blueberries. And they all have different kinds of vitamins and antioxidants and just different things that they bring.
Right. And the benefit, the main benefit of eating a variety of fruits and vegetables is to get all those vitamins and minerals and phytonutrients that you need for good health, clear vision, heart health, artery health. There's no part of your body that that isn't affected by what you eat, and there's so much value in the fruits and vegetables nutritionally speaking. So
what did you bring?
So what did I bring? So
start with the different colors.
I'll start with making a salad. This is what most of us. This is iceberg lettuce. Nice head of lettuce. Certainly a valuable vegetable, but there's so many ways to add more nutrient to your salad by using something like a red leafy vegetable.
Now, that's what I have heard, that there's a lot less, the iceberg lettuces are sort of more water and less good.
Right. They're almost like a zero, not zero value, because they do add the fiber.
Especially the darker green outside.
But as far as the nutrients, you get a better deal by adding red leafy. Now this is bagged spinach.
And it's pre-washed. It's babies. I live on that
this a lot.
It is a convenience, but if you can afford it, you make that decision as to whether it's your time or your money that you have more of.
The benefit of that, it definitely is convenience, and you can, of course, get a whole bag of mixed greens.
But then, which is also kind of nice.
Very nice. It's very nice if you work at your workplace has a refrigerator just to keep bags of lettuce there, so you never default to fast food because you didn't have time to prepare something. The other benefit of any of these, beyond salad, I just wanted to point out for people who are trying to avoid a lot of bread or carbs in their diet, is to use these as wraps. So this particular leaf or one of the others, especially the outside, if you have a tuna salad or chicken salad or just slices of lunch meat and cheese, and take this and roll it, hit that part off, and then just eat that, pack that as your sandwich. You can make it look a lot tidier than that, but that's how
I do that, or the long pieces of romaine.
Exactly.
You can use
romaine
those
makes
too.
a great job.
Yeah.
So these are the onions I prefer for salad. You can cut up a big onion if you want like this, but the little green onions I think just are milder and have a nicer flavor.
Well, and once you cut up the whole onion, it doesn't last very long, and you don't need that much for a salad unless you're fixing a salad for a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
So you can do 1 or 2 of those, and boom, you're done.
Yes, and then you can add to your salad, you can put in something like broccoli. There's this big thing about kids not liking broccoli, but my experience, not just with my own son, but when we do programs with kids, is that when you give them broccoli, they like eating broccoli. I think sometimes it's the adults.
My kids do too. We called him the broccoli monster, in fact, for a while, because it was the only green vegetable he ate forever and ever. But do you find they like them raw and crunchy or cooked? Because broccoli has a smell to it when you cook it, and I think sometimes people react to that.
But you're absolutely right. Actually, when we use them, we serve it to the kids cut up raw, like with carrots and celery, and usually make a dip out of yogurt. And I think the dip is part of the
attraction.
Fun.
It is for me. I mean, I will eat a whole lot of raw vegetables if I have if I have a good dip.
Then it becomes an activity sport. You know, you're dipping in.
Yeah, and it replaces chips. You know, it's got that extra.
Exactly. So, and then when you're building your salad, it's always I always like to add carrots to it again. For convenience, although there's cost to it, you can buy carrots already cut up and chopped and shredded, however you want to use them. So those are the things. Now, and you don't have to then stop at fruits, at vegetables. You can add strawberries to your salad. I have some here. Strawberries, blueberries. A lot of restaurants now, that's a big item, is to put blueberries. You can add chopped nuts to your salad.
The nuts add a little protein.
Add a little protein, a little crunch.
Dish,
sunflower seeds. What else? Oh, and then protein. If you have leftover chicken or turkey or even beef, you can add that to your
I will
salad.
say, because this is one of my favorite salads in the universe, County Grill has an amazing salad, and they put chopped Granny Smith apples. You know, those tart, and that does that same sort of thing.
Okay.
And they're fairly low in sugar compared to some of the other fruits.
That sounds good.
I know.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to talk about was seldom used or often avoided vegetables. Eggplant, actually, I guess because of my Italian heritage,
there you go,
is one of my favorite foods. And there's all kinds of ways I grew up eating eggplant. Unfortunately, a lot of them involved large quantities of cheese.
Eggplant parmesan.
Yes. And so, you know, but the way that I use eggplant most now, along with zucchini and carrots and that onion that I had out before somewhere, is to cube them all about the same size, put them on a sheet pan. Whatever herbs you like, I tend to use dried thyme and oregano, there's that Italian again, and basil a lot, and just a bit of oil. For a whole pan, sheet pan of vegetables, 1 tablespoon of oil is plenty. But then,
I probably use a little more.
Well, 1 is plenty, but you can use more.
We'll do that.
And then you have to toss it, and that's if you want your kids in the kitchen, nothing they like better is getting their hands in there and getting oily, you know, all over.
Right.
Then that goes in the oven at about 400. It's not as art. It's not a science. At 400, 410, and cook up till they're the consistency you like. I usually do it about 20 minutes. And once during that time, you can use your spatula and kind of stir them around. Peppers, that's another food. I thought I had a pepper. Yeah, trust me, there's a pepper.
It's in there somewhere, yes.
Which is also good in your salad, but is also what I use in that roasted vegetables. And
that is such a good thing for fall. Like in the summer, I tend to eat a whole lot more raw or lightly steamed. But when it comes to fall, those hearty root vegetables and leaving the oven on for 20 to 40 minutes is not a problem.
Right. That's a good point. In the summer, I know it used to be my mother. Didn't have air conditioned homes, so it was her goal not to turn on the oven.
Right. Like I'd roll the eggplant around the grill before I would turn on the oven.
But the thing about if you do turn on the oven, then that's a good time while whatever's in there is baking or roasting, is to go ahead and do then a pan of vegetables, because that you can put in Tupperware and a container and keep.
Well, and they're
the
good.
week.
You can put roasted vegetables on a salad.
Oh,
you
absolutely.
can reheat them. I mean, they're just really versatile.
Yeah. Yes, they're wonderful. While we were talking about root vegetables, I did want to let people know that the Hampton Parks and Rec is opening yet a third community garden in North Phoebus, and it's opening you can register for it now online. It's the city of Hampton.
Hampton.gov/parks. You can get there.
You know that. Mm-hmm. And it may seem crazy to some people, but that it's like the wrong time of the year, but you can still start and harvest root vegetables and a lot of these greens, like this kale.
And I'm telling you, kale, I'm a new convert to kale, but it grows really well here. Like, I got a great spring crop, and it's middle of August, and I'm still getting kale. Some of it's bolted, but not all of it. And I've been harvesting it since spring. I mean, I put in plants. I didn't start at seed because that's, beyond me. But it's just done really well. And in the morning, I do it in a smoothie. We go out, we pick it, we throw it in the blender.
Yep.
With some yogurt and some berries and some protein powder and some sunflower butter.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I make a lot of bean soup and lentil soup, that type, and minestrone or vegetable soup. And I've started putting kale in there.
It holds up better. Some greens are so wilty and they almost disappear. And kale survives the cooking that happens when you're making a leftover soup.
And speaking, of greens, for anybody who hasn't tried kale but grew up on collards and other kinds of greens, do give kale a try, because I think if you like those other hearty, deep green vegetables, you will like kale, and you can make it without a ham hock. Although it's good with a ham hock.
It is, but you can do other things
yes,
with
absolutely.
it. You and I were talking maybe a little vinegar if you're cooking the greens as a green.
Right.
And it takes longer, though. I mean, you really have to cook it. I mean, collards you kind of do too. I guess it depends.
Yeah.
But it's not like that 1 minute that you do with spinach.
Yes.
You got to do a little bit more.
Yeah, you got a little bit more work there, and of course.
But it's worth it. And kale, it's like this new superfood. Everyone's talking about it.
Oh,
Why is that?
I think it's part of the what's it called? Back to the farm?
Farm to table. But it's also just such a dark green that it's got a lot of.
And I think the production of it is not, it's inexpensive to grow.
Well, it sure was for me.
Right.
I mean, I used potting soil, and I didn't fertilize much.
Right.
I didn't have to water as much. I can't grow spinach. Like spinach, when it gets hot, that spinach dies off for me. I'm going to try it in the fall and see if I have more luck.
Yeah.
But I was surprised how hardy and easy to grow that was.
I think that's why its nutrient value is being made, is making it even more popular. But I do believe it's come to the market because the ease of growing it and its hardiness. It's a more reliable crop than some of the other greens, which, as you say, are so much more delicate.
Well, so let's talk about some ideas for sneaking in vegetables or increasing the amount of vegetables at a meal. I'll tell you, one of my favorites is to replace potatoes or rice with cauliflower. And you can roast that, you can steam it. I even make mashed cauliflower, which ends up actually having a little of that butter and cheese that you would probably tell me, but use sparingly.
I'm here to say that part of a healthy diet is oils. In fact, for folks who are on Weight Watchers, that's a requirement. You have to get in a healthy oil. So that doesn't mean bacon fat, but that does mean a vegetable oil or
nuts or peanut butter or whatever.
Right. I mean, so
it is a lot of studies have found that it helps you feel full, that it's part of keeping you from eating other stuff.
Right. And we truly do believe, people in the health field, that there is no bad food. I mean,
yes.
There's never...
Ice cream is a wonderful food. You just can't have it all the time.
Right, and if someone brings Krispy Kreme to the office and you have a Krispy Kreme, that is not the end of the world. That means that the rest of the day should not be full of heavy fatted foods. But so you had a Krispy Kreme, move on.
Right,
have a glass of juice and move on. I did want to talk a little bit about fruits because they make it so easy to give kids snacks, especially this time of the year. There's strawberries, and peaches. I have a watermelon here, but I think I'll leave it in there because it's just too awkward.
Oh,
to bring
yeah.
out.
Kids love, and you can't give grapes to little kids.
You can't
it
give
can be a
grapes,
choking hazard.
Once
But
they're about over 3, you're safe. What I like to do as far as snacks, especially in the summer, is to freeze grapes.
I have heard that, and I've never tried it.
It's like eating a frozen piece of popsicle, but only it's a grape tasting. It's so refreshing, and it's fun. I mean, if you have a little bag of grapes and you give those to the kids and say, here's your snack.
I've also heard, and I hope I'm not saying anything bad, but that you can use them to keep your wine cold. Like, isn't that a great idea?
Yes.
Like, instead of ice cubes, because it wouldn't melt and dilute the wine.
Right.
Isn't that perfect for your white wine in the summer?
And why have I never thought of that?
I never tried it. Somebody
heard
just
it
told
here.
me, and I'm like, gonna do that.
No, there's nothing wrong with saying that. The other fruit that is good frozen is banana, and you can even dip it in a little bit of chocolate if you care to. In fact,
chocolate, I mean, cocoa inherently it's got some fats in it, but it doesn't have sugar. It's how much we add and what kind of a mix what kind of chocolate
And again,
you
if you
use.
cut up banana and strawberries and melted some Hershey's chips or whichever
Or
kind
dark
of chips
chocolate,
you
which
use,
has even less sugar.
Right. And then use something this amount less than half of this bowl for your family to dip the fruits and vegetables, well, not the vegetables, but the fruits in. Then they have a real treat. They have some chocolate, but they also have fruit.
Well, and that individual pieces and that dipping kind of slows you down, so you're not inhaling your food as quickly. You have a chance to feel full.
And it's communal. I mean, nothing says family more than sitting around a pot of chocolate.
Sharing food, right.
Dipping fruit into it. Another way, though, you had asked earlier about slipping in vegetables and other into foods. Zucchini, as this time of year there's plenty of, is an easy thing to grate and add to anything you're making, as are carrots. So if you're making a meatloaf, and then one way to make meatloaf that kids seem to like is to make it in like cupcake.
Oh, individual
and little cupcakes, and even in the holder, and then they can eat that. But great carrots in there, great zucchini into those items. You can certainly, if you bake, it means turning the oven on again.
Right.
But if you bake zucchini cakes, zucchini breads, again, there's some sugar in there, but if you're baking your own, you control the amount of sugar that's in there.
And I will grate it and freeze it in 2-cup portions so that later in the fall and in the winter I can make the zucchini bread when we want it, and not necessarily in the summer. But it keeps pretty well.
That's a great idea. And one thing, when you're baking, because things like quick breads, like zucchini breads or egg muffins, they usually, as their fat, require oil. You can substitute up to a cup of oil with applesauce when you're baking. So it's also another form of fruit. But a way to cut down in the fat. And if you don't want to if you find you don't like the texture of a totally substituted applesauce, oil for applesauce, then do half of it.
Right.
Then that's half of the fat.
Everything makes a difference. It's not all or nothing, as you say. There's nothing that's off the table.
Right.
It's just how you control what you're doing and how you work things in. We work vegetables into breakfast. As I was saying, we've been doing a lot of kale smoothies with some berries in it, but also when we have an omelet or when we do a frittata, put some zucchini in there, put some leftover asparagus in there. So I'm trying to even get in vegetables for breakfast, which is a little bit of a challenge sometimes, but it's working out pretty well.
Great. That's a great idea. And I'm sorry, I'm embarrassed that I didn't think of frittata first. Because we do put a lot of mushrooms and zucchini, and I'm trying to think what other. I know there's another vegetable I've put in omelets, but peppers.
Oh yeah.
In fact, I grew up not eating meat on Friday, and so when we were home in the summer, then pepper and egg was a big lunch that my mother would make for us, like a big omelet to keep us all quiet and send us back out to play after we had our frittata. The other thing I just wanted to point out is with celery and carrots, anytime you're starting a soup, which sometimes I make my own soup, but to start with chopped up celery, chopped up carrots, and that elusive onion that has disappeared.
And maybe a little garlic.
And a little, oh yes. And
You're Italian, I knew you would be thinking of that.
All right, and just a little bit of oil, or you don't need it at all if you use like a PAM, cooking spray. That's the basis of so many good recipes for soup, because then after that you can add some low sodium broth, throw in whatever kind of noodles you have around.
Broth.
You do.
I skip the noodles usually. But we'll do beans,
Yes.
either do, and in a crock pot, really, it does help, I think, sometimes to saute your vegetables first. But if it's going to cook in the crock pot all day, you can kind of just throw everything in.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
It'll still be fine.
Yeah, I think that sometimes we make recipes, it's making something simple sound complicated, when actually making your own soup or your own broth isn't that difficult at all.
If you have a crock pot, it's not. You just save up the chicken bones in the freezer, throw them in the crock pot with some water, go away to work. The fire officials say I'm not supposed to do that, but there are people at my house, just not me. And you come home and either let it cool overnight or strain it right out then. And it's easy, and you can do the same thing with vegetables. I've been known to save all my little vegetable peelings and questionable pieces, things that aren't great for fresh, and just keep them in a Ziploc in the freezer until I get around to making the broth, and it's very helpful.
Yeah, and of course the one food we haven't mentioned yet, and of course it straddles the line. Is it a fruit? Is it a vegetable? Is the tomato or tomato?
This time of year.
Yes, this is the best time of the year to eat tomatoes. You can give your kids a tomato and send them outside.
Yes, it's like watermelon.
Yeah,
it's
put them outside, and they can eat a tomato the same way they can eat an apple, and they might actually like that better than something chopped up in a salad. Or sometimes it's more exciting for a child to eat the whole fruit, or to eat the little, those little cherry tomatoes. Those are,
and those grow better too, because you don't have to wait as long, and they're not as affected by the heat or blossom end rot or whatever. So getting back to our own gardens.
When you said about growing, even if you're an apartment dweller, something like cherry tomatoes grow very well in a pot on a patio. Yeah. You can grow the large tomatoes the same way. You can grow onions, especially small, this kind of green onion. The bigger plants are more difficult, but I know people who grow
basil
lettuce.
is essential.
Oh.
If I could only grow one thing, it would be fresh basil.
Pesto.
Yes, absolutely.
And again, you can cook it up now and then
put it in the freezer
bag. Yeah, and you can put, actually, a friend always gives me lots of her basil, and then I make it and put it in an ice cube tray and then pop out, because I'm on my own. So, excuse me. And so just one of those cubes is enough if I make a little bit of pasta or something like that. I also want to put in a plug. It's not quite the season for it yet, but for spaghetti squash.
Oh, yes, yes.
Which you can poke some holes in it so it doesn't blow up in your microwave. Microwave it for about 12 to 14 minutes, depending on the size. And then when you cut it, all those inside is just like wonderful little threads that make great
I've been doing that. You can grate the zucchini and do kind of the same thing. It just depends on, and you got to be careful not to cook it too long. That's the trick, too.
Yes, because you could end up with mush. That's why I like it in the microwave.
Right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm very excited. As we transition from eating our fresh vegetables in the spring and summer to looking more toward fall vegetables, root vegetables, and greens, keep in mind what's in season, but also that you can get stuff now that isn't in season. So you can eat these vegetables all year long and try different ways of cooking them so that you have a very healthy diet and feel great. Thank you so much for watching.